Mhm.
Yes, can you hear us over there?
Yes, thank you. Sorry, I couldn't hear, so I didn't want to interrupt in the wrong place. Thank you.
Okay, that's fine.
Have you heard anything?
No, I have not. And
Okay.
I went over to the YouTube to see if I could hear there, and I couldn't hear on the YouTube either. Yes, thank you. Sorry, I couldn't hear.
Wow.
I didn't want to interrupt.
We appreciate you bringing that to our attention. So it's fixed now?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
It's coming through the speakers.
Yes, it is.
It's the TV now.
It's coming from where?
The
The
speakers of the
speakers on the
TV.
TV. Can we mute the TV? If we just turn the volume down on the TV, it should solve that problem.
Or is there any choice,
Okay, here we go.
choice you don't make the owl? It's the owl here. That's what it shows here.
There we go. Okay, that should resolve that.
It's coming from here now?
I think it was.
No, I think it was the TV. I think we got it.
Right.
Thank you for letting us know. Okay, so for those who missed, we've approved the agenda, the minutes, and we voted for our new board member about an upcoming board happy hour, and we're stalling because Dana's coming in from the parking lot. Did that pretty much cover it? Good job. Should we move to finance and come back to Dana?
We'll
Yeah.
talk about the KCP one,
Oh, do we need Dana for that though, or no?
part of it.
Yeah. Okay, let's go to finance and then we'll come back.
You understand?
Understand?
No. Perfect timing.
Is it?
It is.
Always.
And then we'll just awkwardly kick you out if she does get.
Okay.
All right, so do we want to go ahead and do finance and then we'll come back? Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Accounts payable, and so we've got three highlights here. Liquidity services, and that's actually GovDeals Inc. is what that is. It's an auction website. We paid them just under 10,000 just as stopgaps to replace a total bus that was totaled back in June. And we actually received insurance proceeds from that June total bus of just over $10,000. So it was actually a net gain on that disposal of one bus and picked up two backup buses, essentially. We also talked about the flexible educators. We paid them just institutes, particularly it included middle school design, Mandarin, and Spanish. Just again, that's a stopgap just for the beginning of the year. Veneer Software and Technology, they were paid $12,430 for some high school physics supplies, and that's part of the CSP grant. And the CSP grant is now done. So we did our last draw on CSP in September. So
CSP, the federal grant, we see $1.3 million for the high school.
and then stands for Charter School Program.
Charter school program.
Did anyone have any additional questions over accounts payable? If not, we'll need a motion to approve the September 2024 accounts payable transactions.
Anyone? Okay, Beth, can we get a second?
A second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Financial statements for August. We talked about the cash in, cash out, so just changing our cash during the month of August, and then also just looking at year-to-date July and August cumulatively. And so in August, we actually received more than we spent by $63,000, but cumulatively, we still spent more than we received of $217,000. A big portion of that's our summer school salaries that we pay out in July. On screen, there's our third-party accountants' financial statements they put together, just highlighting variance here under earned fees in this. You can see my mouse moving there. It's $175,000. That's the E-rate for the Chromebooks that we purchased back in January that we got reimbursed for and actually came in very first week of October. So we've been reimbursed for that, so it's a change. We were expecting to get that in June, but there was a little bit of delay, and so it came in October, so timing difference there. We also talked about the weighted average daily attendance formula, and that the weights have changed a little bit from budget, and so it's included in the forecast, these forecasted financial statements, but we're expecting an additional bump in the per WADA amount than what we budgeted. We budgeted just about $12,440. We're expecting that to be in the $13,000 range, maybe $13,300 or $13,600. So considerable, $1,000 bump in the per WADA amount. We should know more about that at the end of this month. And so for the next forecast, we're planning to capture it in those financial statements. Just a summary of that last page, just looking at the year-to-date, so the third-party accountants report that schools' expenses exceed revenues through August by $215,000. Just another note, it's not captured in the forecast, but we did receive that $10,000 check for the total bus that was deposited in September. And then here's an interesting one. So I don't know if any of you go out and look to see if you have unclaimed property with the state of Missouri. I did that in July for the school, and we actually had unclaimed property. Mainly some dividends and just some other miscellaneous items. The total of $1,100. I mean, it's little, but just want to let you know we did that. Mr. Bank had to sign some paperwork and send that off to the state and receive that. And in fact, there was some stuff going back to the Kansas City foreign language charter school.
Wow.
So they released it to us. We also talked about transportation before we get to this slide too. We reviewed some pre-COVID transportation expenses, which accounted for approximately 5 to 6% of the total school expenses. And then with current projections, we're still projecting to maintain this figure of about 5% of transportation expenses for the overall cost of the school, 5%. Key element there, though, that we discussed, and that's Mr. Bang's vision to purchase 3 new buses and still keeping within that 5% of the total budget. The buses are seen as beneficial to the school in the sense that it's not only transportation, but it also it's for recruitment purposes and advertising. So there's some benefits there, not just transportation. We also talked about this fleet expansion that we've had. Currently we have 13 buses, but if we plan to add 3 new buses, and then also with the electrification grant, add 2 more on top of that, we would bring our total fleet to 18. And we're thinking about that for one of the main reasons is to have 3 buses in reserves to be able to not have broken down buses, but be able to, if we have something down, to have a bus ready to go and pick up kids.
I thought the electric ones, whatever those are, is replacing, not adding.
The electric ones will replace 2, and maybe 4.
We already commissioned, I think, 3.
It's true.
But there's 1 more that needs to go.
That's true.
So remember the 7 first buses we bought, the young ones, 3 of them were gone, so we need to decommission another one. So it will come down to, we're thinking of getting 4, because we had a meeting with our consultant and another constructor, representative of constructor, to see what would be the most beneficial for us. And I've talked about the buses on my report. Just to, what we need to know is, even though we will be spending, because we did the projection for the next 10 years, 5 years, how much is going to represent for our budget around 5%, 5.5%, just like before COVID. We need to know that before COVID, bus drivers were paid $70 a day or $110 if they do double route, I think. Now we're paying them $165. It's like two and a half. So that's the only way, and they do double routes, but that's why. And that's how we become competitive and still keep that, have enough bus drivers compared to others. So even though we do that, we multiply the salary by 2.5, we're still at the same level of expense, which is $1.2 million, which is exactly what First Student charged us in 2022 for while we were maybe 1,100 students. So the discussion is about, the finance committee would like to see an overall transportation plan that includes everything we need for the board to approve, as opposed to having to buy bus by bus depending on needs. So, because at this point we need to realize we're either in this transportation business and stay in it, or we're going to revert to contracting. I don't think it would be a good idea to do it. And knowing that in any case, the cost of operation is almost the same or lower than going to a contractor. So what we're talking about is with our fleet now going to 19, maybe 20 sometime, getting a bus barn, a mechanic, which is less expensive than what we're paying now, because we're paying $250 for mechanic to repair anything. The consultant we met, Rick and I, on Friday, told us you can hire a mechanic maybe $40 an hour, and it will help also for maintenance buses. So that's what it means is having a full business of busing, the barn, mechanic, and then put the charger there, so that we know that we're covered. At the bus barn we're renting now, I think we're paying $20,000 a month.
No, not a month.
A year, sorry. 1,100 something, 12 months. So, and then mechanic, I think we're paying around 20,000, something like that. So that's what we're thinking of in the next month or so. We already have somebody who may help us present a plan to the board, a comprehensive plan to the board, and know exactly how many buses we need and all the things, what it takes. Because this year's budget may project a kind of surplus, it would be good to, if we're doing it, to do it this year so that we won't have a deficit next year or following year. Knowing the next year probably there'll be you may have substantial salary increase, so it may be this year that you can do that. So in any case.
Sorry. Can someone on Zoom with the background noise please mute?
Marissa, can you mute
Is it Maritza?
Marissa, can you mute your mic, please? Give it mic.
You can do it from Akash.
Should give it to mic. People, I think. Good, okay.
There you go.
Okay, good. So, in any case, we will need, whether we go for the plan or not, we need 3 buses. Should we buy it now or wait until the plan to approve it? Over the weekend, I met at Costco 2 of our bus drivers, which is the first time, and they approached me and started talking to me about frustration that we have 4 buses, 4 buses at the shop, which we don't have a spare buses, and they told me we need to stop banking to take a bus, because it was a good 15 to 20 minutes of discussion, because that's what they need. So my opinion is we need those, no matter what we're gonna go to anyway, because having 13 buses, remember, prior to COVID, we had 17 routes. Now we have how many routes? 19 routes. and we're running it with 13 buses. And if any, unfortunately, when you're double tiering buses, if one bus is down, you're affecting two kids. I mean, two set of kids, the elementary and the middle school. So it's more. But in any case, we think that it's probably important to present a plan, a transportation plan to the board. But at the same time, this news is not going to go away. They're not mutually exclusive. I think we can still do both. So in my report later, I will come back to the EPA clean buses and tell you what we talked about and how much it's going to cost, what we're going to need to spend to do that.
Just one comment back on those 3 buses that we decommissioned last year. So just kind of piggybacking off of Mr. Bang, we had purchased those 7 buses initially, and when we applied for the grant, part of those 7 buses, there were 3 that were needing repairs, but they're still part of the grant application because they were running at that point in time. But then they became dead after we were awarded. One of them needed a complete engine replacement, so that's one that
2 of them, by the way,
candidate for decommissioning. So they've been replaced. Those will be replaced with it.
A plan. It feels hard every couple months. We need a couple more buses. And I get that might be needed. It would be nice to see like the bigger plan and what are the long-term costs that we're taking on.
So we are about to purchase also some routing software, right?
Yes, we are in the process of routing software and the cameras and the bus tracking system.
Oh, right. So
should we wait to see the result of what the routing system will tell us? See, maybe they'll give us some better sense for how many routes you really need and what before we start pushing the buses.
That's a good idea. The only thing is, sometimes I'll say, Citywide, who used to be our contractor delivering service. I remember them saying they did not like the software. They did it by themselves. They never had software anyway. But software is important. Even though, as I said, the person we met on Friday told us, even though you have software, you need human knowledge, because the driver knows which route at what time you should go to, and the software will not show that. But anyway, it's important to do that. I'm just going from comparing what we used to have as number of routes, number of buses, and what we're running it now. I'm saying we used to have, prior to COVID, 17 buses and routes. And with first season, it was 19 buses routes we are going to pay. Now with almost the same, the number of high we still have 19 routes and now 13 buses. That's where I'm coming from. I say, okay, from there, the normal conclusion is we need additional buses anyway, no matter what. And no matter what, we need the software too. We need that routing software, we need all those things. All of them should be happening. And that's where I'm coming from. And again, I agree that the board needs a comprehensive plan and know what's going on. And for all of us, say, okay, the next, so what are we going to invest, and so on. Routing system, tracking, the best, whatever we need is important. And we work for that. The guy, that person agreed to do it, and I think he said he would be available at the November meeting to come and share with us what we need to do.
The consultant?
Yes. Consultant. He used to be a operation director of a school district.
So it's a third-party expert to validate our approach.
That was my question. Is the software tab
two different
those data?
I think it's two different. The transporting for cameras.
It's for the
GPS,
tracking.
And another Transfinder for the routing. So we have been in conversation with Transfinder. We already had transporting for the last 2 years.
But it hasn't been active on every bus, right?
The last few buses we bought, I think 3 were.
Okay.
And so for these 3 new buses, because we bought in the past some very cheap older buses that have broken down sometime. We also buy some more expensive newer buses. Do we have a sense for what we're looking for and what kind of budget we're talking about?
After our experience with the 7 buses, and we had 2 engines to replace, because remember, the 7 buses, we bought them like junk buses, because when we made the decision to go into transportation, junk buses to buy. And it was good for 1 year where we were able to, we bought them 7 buses for 70,000, or 7 buses for 70,000, 10,000. And we ran them for a year, and then the second year, 2 of them, the engines, we had to spend a lot of money, I think $40,000. We said, no, we're not gonna do that. So thank God we have this grant, APA, and we use those buses to decommission 4 of the 3 of them that we'll get those API. Now, we bought, after that, the board approved, when we took over Cherry, we bought 4 buses. And those ones were really good ones because we made sure that they were no older than 2018 back then, it was 2 years ago. And we went there and we checked it with the dispatcher and look at everything, we bought them, it's fine. After that, there have been, I think twice the board approved when we took Cherry Oak. Remember, the only approval you're talking about is we're expanding. First we took here, and then we bought 7 buses. Then with Oak, we had to buy 2 more buses, and so on. That's how you feel that, okay, every 1 hour and then I'm coming to say, hey, you need buses, because we have to expand. That's what it is. So what we're trying to do is really buying good buses. It might be around, because the first one we bought 62,000 each, so the 4 we bought, but probably at this point it might be around $80,000. Probably
125 probably.
Those are brand new. Those are brand
It's
new.
a brand new bus.
It's a brand new bus. The buses, maybe it's going to be $80,000. That's what I'm thinking. If you buy a 2020 bus, because those 2020 buses are the ones who are off lease. They finish their 3 years lease and come back, and that's what we bought. When we bought the 4 buses, they were just coming off lease, and then we had all these buses to choose from.
And, we've had a lot of conversation about buses and all of that. I'm going to trust that we are really looking at the data on how we're making these decisions and not kind of fall into a black hole of transportation.
Which is true. It's important. And it's also my personal concern.
And I know that.
I don't want it to be.
I just remember a lot of discussion about buying buses and kind of the trickle down of what happens over years. So I see some head nodding, so I kind of.
Which is that whole maintenance and.
And I can tell you that the defense committee, we are spending a lot of time.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And that makes me feel better because I'm not like watching it and monitoring it, just hearing these discussions. I'm just hoping that we have a very watchful eye on this.
Yeah.
And I think having the full plan that we can see at the next meeting, or when we get our materials before the next meeting, will help a lot, as well as that consultant. I don't know if he's also planning on attending the.
Well, in Kansas, I think.
Okay, but he'll be here for the board meeting. But we'll see. We'll still see in your plan what's recommended there.
How many of the buses do you have left of the 7 that you bought for $10,000? How many of the buses, the 7 buses that we bought?
Still here?
Yeah.
3 or 4, I think.
Yeah, I was just trying to run.
3 small ones. The small
I
one.
think there's 2 small buses, so I think there's 3 left.
Because the third small one was the one engaged in the accident. Was totaled, but there was an accident. It was a good one though.
So if I look at worst case scenario, those 3 remaining junk buses could break down, and these 3 that we're buying could replace those, and then we're gonna need another 3 buses. Will we be kind of looking at that in the plan? I was just putting all of that together. Yeah, I was
Right,
like,
I think it's a very good question, right? I think like that plan needs to be thoughtful about sort of what we have and what that means.
Everything can happen. So the only thing I have always tried to tell ourselves, let's buy good buses. I would rather, I'm kind of traumatized by those 2 buses that we had to replace. Look at the invoice, the first bus is 48,000. I said, no, we bought them for $10,000. We cannot spend $40,000 for the whole bus. That's why, even when I met with those two drivers, they told me the good buses you bought are those really good buses. That was their comment. And if you go and buy, I mean, like lately we bought on an auction another bus for $3,500. It might be fine, but we may have to spend some money on that, and then plus, yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll look forward to seeing that plan at the next meeting.
Okay.
All right, anything else from finance? All right, you want to go back to governance and let Dana do her, yeah.
That's how we did.
First of all, let me apologize for being tardy. I was fighting the gate, apparently, and the gate won.
It always does.
This is gonna be a very short kind of conversation. And so, I enjoy working with Mr. Bang and the other administrators, and they tell me things, and I take notes, and I'm like, yeah, I need to tell the board, don't do that. So this is what we're doing today, is don't do that. One, when requests are going to, when a board member or a committee needs information, you all have traditionally had, by practice, it typically goes to your president and to the superintendent. For a couple of reasons. One, she needs to know what you all are doing, and it keeps her in the loop. The other part is, when it's coming to the superintendent, that allows him to know what you're looking at, what you need, and that you are getting the right information. So if you all have requests as committees, that's how it should funnel. It should be those to people, and then they go and get it. It should not be direct requests to administrators or staff. Because our staff is coming to you with issues. You need to direct them to their superintendent or their preferably their building principal. For a number of reasons. One, you all don't want to become intermediaries between the business of the school and the employment decisions of the school. You all can bind the board. So if you're like, oh yeah, we'll handle it, then I get to see it pop up in a lawsuit that so-and-so on the board said it would be, but that being the main one. You don't want, if a staff person comes to you, you need to immediately direct them either back to Mr. Bang, depending on the content or what it is, or to their principal. And then you need to send Mr. Bang an email. Hey, Ms. Smith, in the first grade, called me about so-and-so. I told her to call Madam Royce. I just wanted to let you know. You don't need to carbon her on it, but you do need to let the superintendent know. That's protect you and protect the board. If you all make promises and it goes south, and that employee to be personally named in that lawsuit because you made some promises to that person, I don't want that for anybody. Nobody wants that. So that's one. Number three, you all should make requests as a board to Mr. Bang, as opposed to just like, hey, can you give me so-and-so? It should be, while he's your employee, he's not your employee in that way. And so it's much better if it comes through, again, your president and the president to him. That way he's not doing this, flailing about trying to answer all these issues. I just want to make sure I'm checking my notes. That I hit everything.
I have a quick question about that.
Yes,
How about the inside committees like development committee, because they are.
Pam's the chair.
Yeah, he's the chair. And I don't want to be. I mean, just tell us what should be done, but I'm thinking of being a go-between as opposed to encouraging press conversation. I know the board policies say communication, we start go through the superintendent, but if it is a committee like this,
So you,
I think they should be able to, I mean, in my opinion, to just, sometimes you wanna, I think you don't have the power to tell her to do something because you don't supervise her, but as a board committee, you should be working together.
Yeah, where you can say,
directly.
will you send me this? And
That's what I'm saying, as opposed to me being in the middle, I don't know. What do you-
no, so to your point, that's why I wouldn't look back at my page. So if you have a committee that's specific and has a liaison on the staff, for example, endowment or fundraising, you all have a person that's their job, that's the person that really liaises with that individual. Absolutely. That they shouldn't have to come to you for you to ask her to give them. We don't need to do that. But I'm talking about other, if you have a finance committee, it doesn't make sense for them to send it to you. You're the person that really provides all the data and information for that committee. I'm not talking about those instances. I'm talking about something outside of that. So somebody on the finance committee wants student data on reading schools. That's probably outside their bailiwick. That shouldn't be going straight to your data person in the school district. It should be coming to your president.
Okay.
You provide that information. Ma'am, so do you see the difference? Do you all see the difference? Does that make sense? Yeah. So this is more of a don't do that session because it can really get you in trouble. And let me just say this, if in doubt, don't do it. If you think, I wonder if I can call Miss Smith up in the first grade and ask her about that, don't. Send a question to Mr. Everything, include the president on it, and let them respond. My father has a saying that I didn't understand as a kid, but I do understand it at 60, and that is, it's better to regret now than later. And what I have learned that means is the regrets I have today, but if I do it, that regret is always worse. So it's better for you. We can clean up if it just went to them. I can't, it's a lot more mess to clean up with 10 other people involved. All right.
excellent job. And the bond,
Yes.
do we want to discuss that now, or do we want to discuss that in closed session when we talk legal?
Part of it we can do here. What I would not want to do is what my legal advice to you is. If you want to just talk back now, but if it comes to what I'm going to recommend to you all, that needs to
That'll
be
be
in closed
closed,
session.
okay.
So you want me to do that? Tell you, we can talk generally or?
Yeah, I put certain things that,
Okay.
what we discussed with KCPS. The bond, for those who, just a reminder that KCPS want to put to vote a bond of $475 million in April, this coming April. And they decided to include the charter schools. However, they are ready to give up to $50 million to charter schools, which represent around $10,000 per student. They'll be getting they'll be getting $28,000 per student. Remember that charter schools and the district have the same number of students at this point. So each of them have 14,000 students. So the logic would be we should have it 50-50, but we don't have the power of passing a bond. It's the district who has the power of passing a bond. In St. Louis, for instance, the district did not involve charter school. So we need to also appreciate that they want to work with us and so on to pass it. It's also clear that without the charter school, probably the chance of passing the bond is very slim, probably. So, but it's kind of win-win if you have to do it. Another condition, at this point, there are 8 charter schools interested in signing a memorandum of understanding. We have until November 8th to vote and send it, which means that if we want to vote, we'll need a special board meeting to discuss it and vote it. Funds cannot be used for expansion, meaning we can use the fund to open another school. We can use it for our expansion, meaning, at our current rate, we'll get to 18 or 1,700 students. We're not talking about that. We're talking about going and open another school or building going from 19 kindergarten, one to add another 2 or 3. We're using the money. You can use the money to do something.
Or we can still do that.
This money, you can use this money to do that. However, there are also some issues that the charter schools would like to discuss. The district having some assurance about getting the money, who is going to perceive the interest on the $50 million, because the money will sit somewhere, and should we pay the 1.2% of administrative fees or no? So that's a discussion that we are still having, and still more things that probably Dana will talk about with the closed session. So in any case, for us, if we're able to pass the bond, it would be around 10,000 per student, meaning 14 million. Part of it, we think, would be used to build a gymnasium and auditorium here, and the other part, taking care of roofs, chain oak, technology, air conditioning, and so on. That's what we require. So at this point, that's what we talked about, and we want also the charter schools have the liberty to decide how $50 million would be shared. And we already agree that it's going to be along the line of enrollment, not needs. That's what we agree on.
We have about a third of all charter schools.
Pardon?
We have about a third, I mean, if you're talking 14 charter schools.
Only 8.
Of the 8 schools.
There are only 8 schools.
Yeah.
There are only 8 schools. Well, in 2 years, we'll be the biggest, I mean, after maybe 20 years, we'll be. And the 8 charter schools represent around 5,000 students. Yeah.
Right, any other questions on that right now?
One thing I wanted to add is Michelle and I have a meeting with the superintendent and the board chair on next Monday.
This just came up today.
Monday at 2:30 today. So
Is that Rita?
Yeah,
it's Wheeler. So
we need to talk about that.
we will talk about it. But the reason why we personally, I think I told her, I already met the superintendent and the assistant superintendent a few months ago. It was back in, I don't know what, 2 months probably. But we also discussed also our other project that we needed their approval on. So, and talk to the board about the bond. That's what we want also, that it's an opportunity to discuss with the board, with the district about different other projects, not only the bond.
It sounds like we should discuss in closed
Yes,
session.
we will be.
This never ends with these people. Okay.
All right, any other questions on that before we, knowing that we'll discuss it more in closed session? Okay. All right, and sorry for my awkward stand. I've got like a little pinch in my back that I'm just waiting for it to go away. It will. All right, next is, I think it was development. Ally.
Me and Pam. Okay, I've got good news. So development committee, we are going to talk about the raffle, where we stand on that, and then briefly talk on the benefit breakfast that I think we've discussed a little bit leading up to this year, but how we plan to expand on that. So next slide, please. All right, so cash raffle, our goal is not 10,000, our goal is 100,000. If it was 10,000, we'd be giving that away and out of money. Okay, so our budgeted goal is $100,000. Our stretch goal is 140. The reason we have that stretch goal of 140 is because that's what we raised last year. We are today with 12 days to go. Still, we are at 95, almost 95,000 right now, which is incredible.
Nice.
It surpassed the goal from last year. Last year our goal was 90,000, so we have that budgeted goal to 100. feeling very great about being able to hit 100,000. The community has really come out for this, and it's just really fun to start the year off strong and positive and feel like everybody is in this together and understands the value of donating to the school to express and gain trust in the last few years. And so it's cool to see that. So thank you to everybody who has contributed in some way or another already for this. I did like to put in here, what I did forget to put on this report was the annual goal that we are hoping to achieve this year. Our goal overall for development is $500,000. So that's $500,000 towards the annual fund itself. The audience for the cash raffle currently or today is AL families, community members, any U.S. citizen. So anybody is able to purchase a ticket and win pending 3 different states that you might live in. Ticket sales end Friday the 25th at 11:59 p.m. We're going to announce the $10,000 winner on Saturday the 26th. Any questions about the raffle? Thank you. Okay, so the new event I want to talk through briefly, and we will bring this, Pam and I will bring this to you guys next month with a little bit more firm detail and a little bit more of a firm ask for the board. We are going to be introducing a benefit breakfast in Q3, so that's school year calendar Q3, January, February timeframe. The audience for this will be new benefactors. So it will be, if you have not been involved in the benefit breakfast before, it's a benefit to ideally bring, a breakfast to ideally bring in donors and benefactors who are unfamiliar with AL or maybe haven't donated in the past but might have some sort of connection or reason to want to help donate. And that's kind of where the board is going to come into play with this in terms of networking and bringing in your connections and people who you know, sharing your passion of AL out with your community. We're going to have some ask of you introducing new benefactors to this event. So more to come on the date and the time. Hopefully we'll have that firmed up in November. Our goal for that is $45,000. Any questions there?
You thinking about who you're gonna?
So that means that you want us to bring people who are not part of the school community, yes, who might donate.
Yep.
And so so these people would buy tickets. That's how you get $45,000.
There would be tables essentially where ideally those who are doing the inviting are the ones who are paying for the tables. Folks in on your table, those folks then will be asked to give, we'll have a presentation, and we'll have some stories. We'll firm out what that will look like with the goal at the end of having those new donors give at that event.
And it's not the expectation. You know, a couple of board tables that we're trying to fill with some context.
If we could also, if you know, people go to invite them to the school, know about our program prior to the what we're looking is finding people who are not connected to our community and may want to know about our school. Once they come and visit, we take their address and then invite them too. So if you know people that you think you should invite to come into the school, I'd be happy to have them discover our program. Just, I mean, they may.
If you don't know someone, but you know people who have a tendency, or you know foundations, or you know companies that have a tendency to lean toward education or lean toward, you know, international things that we can associate with the school. I know I may not know somebody, but I will send those types of things to Allie going, hey, I saw this, and you know, you should do that. So that too.
So we'll reach out to them. Yeah. And I should take back exactly what it's like. Sorry, it will not be a purchase. People in your community that are not necessarily associated with AL, with the benefit or the goal of making.
Yeah. So we're looking for the connections, especially, you know, not everybody is comfortable, you know, asking for the money, but let's for the connections, because Allie and Pam will ask anybody for anything.
Well, I do. I like Mr. Banks said, programs around touring the schools, bringing people in different ways, just kind of highlighting all the good that we do here to folks who want to see us succeed, but may not have a direct connection to us.
I tell you, there is nothing like seeing those littles like at Cherry and Oak, and you go in and you see them teach or learning and communicating. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Okay, any other questions?
when we were doing the budget, we had talked about grants and how we might be able to resume grant writing and how grant writer, is there any progress?
There will be. And we are talking through various ways that I am getting the event coordinator back this month. I don't know if that's the right way to word that. This is intended to be 2 full-time development associates, and the last year it's just been this one person. Holly has been pulled into admissions, and she's done a wonderful job. Starting this month, she is going to be transitioning back to development, taking over events so that we can then expand our focus development department-wise on grants, other funding sources. We have some good leads, and we are kind of talking about restructuring the committee a little bit to expand. There's been some shift of volunteers coming on and off the committee. I would like to make a subcommittee specifically that are involved in that. So yes, there is a focus on that and a desire and a need that happened this year.
One of the opportunities to get a grant that Ali and I talked about is about the transportation part, the plan we talked about. To do it ourselves, it may cost us $20,000. And if you have a comprehensive plan and say, let's say we're doing everything, it's going to cost us $600,000. I think foundations may be more inclined to say, okay, we can part of it get grant for it. And for the electrical buses also, there are a lot of grants out there to help fund it. That's what our consultant told us, that we may have grant for the chargers or different things that we need to pay for. And I think that's an opportunity to get more grant.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Diversity.
Diversity committee. I don't know for the B one, B part. I was thinking, well, maybe we talk to see.
Well, I have a few things. We actually got a late start on our diversity committee. So we're kind of working toward our yearly calendar. Holly has come along to be our secretary, so yay for that, to keep me in order, because I need somebody. And so I'm also kind of going through our list of members that we had on that committee to see if they're still on there or not. So I'm reaching out to those folks to see. So we are kind of revising that as well. Our parent series, our last meeting, we talked about that and really trying to, our Parents Academy, really trying to see what it is that we're going to focus on. I know one of the things is bullying and school safety, as well as dual making French immersion in Oak and in Cherry. And then we'd also kind of been working through the library audit. So Mr. Vane can probably tell you a little bit more about that portion. Lisa, I think, is going to talk today about what she's been doing within the schools with the middle school. And then one other thing I just want to mention that we're working on too is getting volunteers for the reading rally during Black History Month in February as well. And that's where we would like volunteers to come in and read children K-5 for about an hour. And you're able to pick your own book. And just really, it's a really good time. I've done it for 2 years. I didn't do it last year, but it was a great time. So that's kind of what we've been working on. We're scheduled to have our next meeting Wednesday.
Yes.
Wednesday. And so more to come calendar and what we're going to do, charging ahead for 2025. So Lisa, I'll let you go ahead and say what you've been doing in schools.
Awesome. Mr. Adam and I worked together last year with our 6th, 7th, and 8th graders on a DEI curriculum that focused around really biases and really DEI, the concept as a whole. And so this year, our hope is to dig a little bit deeper, because it really did go over very well. I thoroughly enjoy talking to our kids, because they're at this age to where they know it, they get it, and they're like sponges. It was really enjoyable being in this space. And then this year, my son's in the 6th grade, so it's going to be extra special. We actually start next week. We're going to start off 1021 with 8th graders, and then we're going to go and 1021, 1025, 1028. We're going to be in the science classes, social studies classes. math classes, then we're gonna go to the sixth graders, 11-4, 11-5, 11-12, seventh graders, 12-2, 12-6, and 12-9. And so each module will be deeper dive with our eighth graders, and our parents will be notified of the content, so they're comfortable, they're really kind of priming their students, if you will, to get comfortable with this conversation. And today, after meeting with Mr. Adam, we decided to add in the B, the diversity, equity, inclusion, and belongingness, just because my expert, my sixth grader, talked to me about his first week in summer school, and the merging of our O kids and our cherry kids is exciting when they first meet each other. And so our hope is to really integrate the belongingness concept into this curriculum, so that we're very intentional about our responsibility in creating this inclusive space and really challenging our students to take ownership. And then the other part that we're going to incorporate in DEIB work that we're going to do is the what, understanding what biases are, what race is, what gender equality is, all these whats, and then the why, especially with our biases. Why do we believe what we believe? And then what we found last year was that we had pockets of kids who were very extroverted and very communicative, and then we had pockets of kids who were a little more quiet and didn't really communicate as much. So this year our plan is to leave open space, and so we're going to challenge all of our students to engage, especially when we talk about our biases, those pre-existing knowledge pathways in our brains. Why do we believe what we believe? So what do we believe? Why do we believe it? And so now what? Now that we understand our biases, now what can we do differently? And really, our challenge is getting our students to take responsibility for creating this more inclusive space for everyone, because of course, the Armour campus is the merging of our two amazing campuses, Cherry and Oak. And so we really want to be intentional about that. In fact, we have some ideas moving to elementary schools so that our kids, our Oak kids and our Cherry kids meet each other a little sooner than our exciting camp day out in the fifth grade. And so we're really excited about it. So right now we're working on the curriculum. We start next week on the classes. And so I'm just excited. It's amazing. They are so introspective, they're so honest, and they really are in a place where they are really doing the I need my work, who they are, and how they really do incorporate themselves as individuals into these conversations. And they're so ready for it. They're really ready for it. And you can tell the difference between the conversations we have with our sixth graders in regards to how they process this work and the conversations we have with our eighth graders. And so we're really excited about really curtailing the curriculum this year in such a way that we can prod them a little bit differently. And again, the objective here is not necessarily an agenda, it really is the I need my work. And then one of the conversations is really the power of our words. We unpack in conversations. This year, we're going to unpack SPED. You know, that's another word, a term that's used by our young people that can be absolutely offensive. And we're going to also unpack the use of the word rape that we found that our young people are using very conversationally. And so us, again, being able to challenge it in real time, and of course, Mr. Adam, he's amazing. His connection points with our students is so profound and so thorough. And so we really want to really meet the students where they are and have them think about the decisions they're making and the reason why. Like, even if you know our friends are saying these things, why are we saying it? Is it okay for us? And us really challenging our students to think about how we have them, they as individuals want to present themselves to the world. Is that something that you want to say? And we had a whole conversation in all the classes about the inward pass. And then they can unpack, especially our students of color. But then when you ask them why do you want to say it, then it's like a pause. Like, why do I want to say that word? What is the reason I want to say that? Why am I projecting this word? Why does that matter to me? And then allowing, again, the students to have space to figure out who they are and what they want to project to the world, who they want to be as individuals. And so it's been amazing. Yeah. So we start, we go all the way through December.
Yeah, it's just really important.
Special education. Oh. Yeah, it's just another way of kids saying weird things to each other. Yeah. Inappropriate. Yeah. Oh, yes, actually, of course they do. Educating them on the power of their words is part of the curriculum. Because they don't mean to be offensive, but by the time you use these comments and moving the inward and open core, the way your words land on other people, the intent. And a huge part of the work that we're doing is intent versus impact. You may think it's funny, but the person who's overhearing it may see it differently. And so now let's be mindful of how we're showing up in space. Who do you want to be? And so we've been really thinking about who they want to be as young people and as young adults is really powerful in this space. And so
I'm excited.
Is this curriculum to choose and Mr. Adam develop it, or is it kind of a standard?
Yes, that's what we are. We honestly, we met today, we started to, well, we're building on it. Like he has a framework and then I incorporate the different concepts into it. And then I add in some slides and stuff. Because I definitely want, one, we are also wanting to work with admin and of course teachers too. We want to make sure that they're speaking to each other. The concepts that we're bringing forth for the students, we also want to be confirmed within the admin. And that's something else we're going to work on, some GIB work. One, because he really does have that connection. He's the one talking to the students. He's the one understanding the impact. Because you might have several students making these comments about whatever inappropriate slur they're having, but he's the one having these conversations. So us being able to really, really have this workshop and really brainstorm on things he really. The great word was some of the conversations he's having as well. Just kids making these comments, not realizing. What does this word mean? Why would you ever want to say that? And then giving them the opportunity to think through that. Who am I? Who was this year is really leaving space within the thing. And then a little bit more of the product. We have some students who are such amazing big personalities, they consume every space that they're saying. And then we have other students who are so quiet, where you can tell they're thinking about it, but to really ask them, until they're at a place where they want to share out. So that's going to be a huge focus this year, is us really welcoming the silence and challenging people to, really step outside of themselves and their own personalities, so that, again, that I mean my work is taking place in real time in our brave space. We're not calling it a safe space, we're calling it.
It's fantastic, and just appreciate you and your time that you devote to this and expertise. I sure don't hug him a lot in the class.
Right. I do think it's so important to engage both the students and the adults, make space for it, but I think it's such a priority. It creates such a different culture in our classroom. So I'm thrilled you are helping.
I think it's amazing how they get it. And you can, I'm not an educator, but even sitting with the 6th graders, the 7th graders, and the 8th graders, it's amazing how that level of, which you all know because you're educators, that level of development is so profound during this time, where the conversations completely change. Whereas this year, we're going to build out the curriculum so it changes with them. So we do a little bit more product with our older students versus our younger students, where it's more introductory. Whereas by the time we get to the 8th graders, we get to have a little, deeper conversations. Because again, as they decide who they want to present to the world, what that looks like. So we're very excited.
This might also promote conversation around the dinner table.
Yes. That's why we're setting up the parents. In fact, Mr. Adam just sent me an email that's going to go out to his parents. We're adding the B because I do feel like from a district standpoint, we have to be a little bit more intentional about the marrying of our campuses so that they see each other as the same district or family. And so in fact, that's some ideas of things I think we should do. But the B is very important because everyone has a responsibility in creating this more inclusive space. As students, we have a responsibility in that, and so that's really helping our students understanding what does that look like for meeting our new friends, what does that look like always, what does that look like in the classroom, and really putting the onus on them in creating these safe spaces, these brave spaces, and these more inclusive spaces for themselves and their peers, whether their peers are coming from Hope, whether their peers are coming from Cherry. So that's a huge part of these spaces. Value seeing her.
That's great. And I think one of the things that we can all do is help get the word out about those and get lots of engagement in those, because they were wonderful.
Yeah, and I think that once we get that started, we can even incorporate something too. So it's almost like they're speaking to each other. The parent series is speaking to the work that Mr. Adam and I are doing. So again, we can really encourage those conversations at the dinner table.
Yeah. Love it.
All right. So library audit is part of our strategic plan of action. We conducted it last school year, and then we shared it again with some of the people. What are the holes? What do we need? What we have, and what we don't have, and discuss and make a decision about what resources we need to buy and also. Any other question about the diversity committee? Oh, it's a big one.
Thank you.
Performance committee report.
Yes.
Gwen is the chair. We had a meeting a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago, because we realized that the cutoff date for DESI was the last Wednesday of September, so we needed to wait until that to be able to have the right data. So the student demographic was presented at the beginning of the school year, but it's important to know how we're doing with regard to our strategy in 5 years. And just share with you this data. As you can see here, this is the plan we developed 2018, I think, 2017, 2018. We developed it it was part of our expansion plan we serve all kids to diversify our student body. And that's why we developed a outreach program, very aggressive one. And as you see, the blue line is the minority targeted data by 2024, 2025, 2028, where we want to be. And then as you see the red line, we have been following it all the way to COVID. And after that, we had an issue with the implementation of our outreach plan, because we did not have a preschool teacher for 2 years and a half almost, and we didn't have recruiters to target low-income zip code and minority zip code, and we had some instability. So we're trying to get back on target. As you see now, we are 45 years behind. That's what it means here. We are 1 year behind of our target. If you go to Cherry, for instance, it's almost 50-50 minority. So that's where we are. So what it means is just making sure that we're targeting the population around in Kansas City, and mainly being more aggressive in low-income farm. When we started our diversity committee years ago, there was a huge discussion about should we have a preference zone. But I think we were right to just do it this way. We are getting more diverse. The free and reduced, generally in October, the free and reduced numbers, we don't have everything. So if you remember last year, the only percent was 18% also before we aggressively pursue people to get all of it. So that's what we did last year. So I'm not concerned about this. I think that we need just to make sure that our parents fill it in. And I think we need to go back and see what we did last year and before, and see whether or not we need to do it again or not. So that's
you put out the request and haven't heard from them. You put out the request and haven't heard from a lot of them.
Yeah, we used to be more aggressive on asking people to fill in the paperwork. Yeah, we need to do. So I don't know if it's going to improve or not, but over the years, we've always just done that and it has improved.
Corey, that they fill it out to complete enrollment? No,
you can't.
Not allowed. Okay.
Number one, you can make it, and number two, the new paper is generally enrolling. It makes it easy.
Yeah.
But it comes out the updated one in June. Already enrolled, you need to go chase them again to fill it in.
Okay.
So but our goal is to get to 25% at least. And the threshold, I don't remember. Do you know the threshold is 18% this year now for free and reduced? The threshold for free and reduced to get 16%. It's 16. So this is the student retention line, or on the right side.
Maybe on the side, yeah.
The retention, you see a deep, don't worry about it. It is when we have our high school, most of our 8th graders exiting, and you count them for retention anyway. 9, and then all these this year, before is our 93, 94, 95, 96% of retention. And then it comes, and it's going back better because of our retention in low grade. And because of our retention between 8 and 9. So we're still struggling there. We need to do more. So this is just, but we also have K8 only. If you look at K8 only, the red one, the retention rate is almost 9 pre-high school there. As you see it, it's right like pre-high school where we were for the K8. The committee wanted to have a comparison of K8 and what we had before. The retention by ethnicity on K8. Curiously, it's the Asian and multiracial that we have lesser retention. So here we don't have a guy in the same area. This is a 9th, 12th grade, because the committee wants also to see 9th, 12th, and K8 by 12th, 91%. And then the lower green is when you take 8th grade, you include the 8th grade who left.
Yes.
To the 9th grade. That's what it shows. This thing, we included them just for you to see how it works. But it's, the 9th to 8th grade is what we have here. And this is how it looks like for different ethnicity, for retention. See, it's very interesting. It's the most diverse one than the rest of our school. It's, see that the rest of the school is lower, and it is, I think, more than 50-50 or 50-50 with regard to diversity. Building, as you can see, chain oak, I mean, it's almost the same. There is a 1 point difference for retention. What we have is that Armour Middle School and High School is around 91%. And for the middle school, the reason why it's 91% because we include 5th graders. You know, 5th graders coming here, 6th grade, that's why we have exit. We have 2 points of exit in middle school generally. If 5th grade coming to 6th grade, we include it in middle school because they're coming here. We lost, I think, 12 around that. And then we have 90% of 5th graders coming to 6th grade. The second level is, I'll talk about, is 7th grade to 8th grade. After the trip to France, that's where we have another exit. So the high school is at 91%. And mainly it's the new kids that you bring and then who leave after for some reason. But not our kids who come here generally from 8th grade. Generally they stay in graduate.
Do we have the data on why they're leaving?
It's a good question.
In the high school, yeah.
We need to do one of our projects is, and it was requested by the committee to call and see, try to do just as we did with the kindergarten, call all those the kids from 5th grade to 6th grade and 7th to 8th grade and the high school. There are not a lot of people. We talked about maybe 50 kids to know exactly why and then plan for that. But I say our K8 is at the same level as we used to be. This is by classrooms, by grade level. Retention is very high all the way until we have, is, as I said, 5th grade to 6th grade and 7th grade to 9th grade to 8th grade. That's where we have. Put it in yellow when it is below 95%. So that's where we are. And what we want for our strategic plan is to have a. So if you look,
we did clarify. It's 95% except 8th to 9th grade, that we've never intended to have
Yeah,
100% retention.
Yeah.
8th to 9th, like we couldn't accommodate 100%, but right now we realize the strategic planning goal was not written correctly. It's not 95% K-12. It's 95% for everything except that 8th to 9th.
For except K-8 and then 9 to 12. That's where we want to have that. We're still working. Our strategic plan goal is retaining 50% of our 8th grader. That's where we are. So if we have more investment in figuring out 7th to 8th grade is more going to another high school. That's the reason why they're leaving and going to another high school, because they know they're not, especially if you get to Lincoln before that, you can continue. That's what we have seen in the past, to Lincoln Middle School and continue to Lincoln High School. That's what we have seen in the past. And key takeaway is, I'd say K-8 retention rate is back to pre-pandemic level, but low retention rate for Asian and multiracial in elementary. This is not a trend, it's only one-time thing at this point. And at district level, we need to focus on retention in the following grades, 7th to 8th grade and 8th to 9th grade. Those are where we need to have more effort. Well, we need to say also that the high school, there were a lot of campaign marketing our middle school, our high school to our middle school, which we did not do the last few years. We have Robin back. Robin is the one, she's the new admissions and outreach director, and she has done a good job first year of high school. So she's already working hard for the beautiful brochure she did to be able to hire more.
How was attendance at the open house?
She was not here today either. So retention also continues to build a sense of community and build pride and belonging by publishing great books, sharing great news. People who need to know, wants to know how good our school is doing. If you're doing great things, and I told the principals, whatever great things happening, open it to also Alex to take pictures and share them with us. Our community needs to know what the great things happening in our school.
Yeah, the social media presence and activity over the past year has really been
much
great.
much better last year, much better. And other events that we think is only money, but it's more than that. Like the evening in Paris is also another way of building that community. The sports in middle school is also another way of building community. Those are things that probably may have an impact in our retention and enrollment. We need to work on that. Hopefully, for our 8th to 9th grade retention, we badly need a gymnasium and an auditorium. I think it would help a lot for kids who really want to pursue sports in high school. It's a pity that we have an amazing team in middle school, in cross country, track and field, in soccer, volleyball, you name it. I mean, it would be great that high school would be winning everything. But unfortunately, they'll be going to other high schools, unfortunately. So that's our goal. We need to invest in those ones.
Mr. Mick, you think it's because of, we don't have a football program? Is that what you think?
High school, we don't even have a soccer because we don't have enough at this point. I mean, our track and field, our volleyball is winning now. Volleyball team is winning. Our debate team is very good too. Is winning for high school, I say.
Our soccer team is undefeated. Boys soccer.
Yeah, great. High school cross and country is doing well. Is cross country. So we're still small. You're competing against 1,000 or 500 high school as opposed to 122. So
Olivier's daughter is killing it in cross country.
Are there plans to have like a band? I heard much people talk about band.
Well, we're working on a just like it's a comprehensive music program. We've invested a lot in arts, now it's the music. We have a music teacher hiring and making sure that we get that back. So better address parents' concern about challenges because sometimes parents leave because they think the kids are challenging in grading. And I think that the communication is important, explaining what is pressure immersion and how our kids are doing later, I think would be helpful. I think I'm done for this. Any question, whatever you want to add for the committee?
Good.
So, superintendent's report, recognition academic program and district operation. So, Cherry would love, we love our new teachers, Sarah Logan, Emmanuel Quajo, Sabrina Mary Allen, Megan Longstreet, Fries Johnson. So, recognition of these new teachers doing great. My gratitude and appreciation to the entire Oak staff for their patience, diligence, and safe during the evacuation due to the on October 2nd. You remember that? It was in the news.
Yeah, it made the news.
Good job for the evacuation. High school, this is Robin, who is transitioning from journalism to admissions, immediately making an impact on our high school team. Already she's generating great enthusiasm and excitement among our MS staff, middle school staff and students for the October 10th. Yeah, did a good job with Liz Silly, Kathy Wilson, Dr. Marisa Paul, and all the team, and Lina Feige. They will work together and make it great with all the teachers and staff over here to showcase the high school. It was a great event.
Will there be more open houses?
Probably, yes. As you see, the brochure is really well done.
Yeah, it's great.
So for academic, we've sent teachers to the Utah language immersion. The French one is the big one every year or every 2 years. I think they organize it. We always send our teachers. Each building chooses 2 teachers. We're also doing, we will be doing also the testing, the French test avant this year. We'll do next week for our students to make sure we track their performance in French. As you know, NWA is only testing English language in English, of course, math in English and science in English. We never had outside French tests. So this year we adopted avant based in, we will be testing our students to see where they are. Experiment is this November 1st, teachers will be going to visit other schools. Send our teachers to visit other programs, called their IB program, and all our teachers will go and visit other schools. So NW has been completed. PD committee is working now on planning for all PDs the rest of the year. It's working on great things. As you know, teachers have a good say on. They're planning to create an AI, artificial intelligence, technology and innovation committee. It has been recommended many times. I've been to many conferences, and all I say, you need to have an AI committee. So it's one coming up. It's an issue that's not going to live, and we'll need to have something for differentiated instructions, for many things. Last week I attended the Channels to Grossman conference done by some schools. So having the committee that will be scanning the world, what's happening, and move forward. That's what we need to. We're moving toward. So after school academic program is going on, began on September 16th at Oak and Cherry. We did parent-teacher conferences. We did the high school open house last week. And we also doing told you again, I attended this charter school cross fund CEO retreat in Atlanta. They organize it every year somewhere, and they pay for every big and successful charter school meeting, 180 CEOs and superintendent meeting, and it's always great. $50,000 a few years ago for our expansion plan. The good thing this year wasn't held on October 10th.
Yeah.
Because my daughter's birthday. For 6 years I missed it. The second thing, it was held on a board meeting. For every year in October, I'll be doing remote on a board meeting. Yeah, correct. So this week we will be then, and the board also, admin staff and board will be attending the charter school, Charter Public School Association annual conference in calendars for building. Just like we did with the board has a data calendar. We have a building data calendar for sharing and knowing exactly, because part of what is scheduled for data sharing with the staff. Because it serves no purpose at the higher level with sharing data, knowing what to do. It should be coming down to the teachers to analyze it and discuss what we need to do. And we also have the classroom data dashboard, same thing I say, at the board level, at the building level, at the classroom level, and grade level, look at our data, our goals, and moving forward, and making the operation.
I wanted everyone to know that you're going to be on the panel at the USA conference.
Well, thank you very much. I hope you're not going to watch me talk about yeah,
I'll be watching.
There's a panel about best practice for charter school to discuss what we're doing.
And Dr. Boyd's going to be on there as well.
Dr. Boyd is there. She's the one, and Sulu is coordinating it. And they will be talking about the growth model, the digital growth model. So they want us to share great things we're doing. It's a lot of work, but we just want to make our teachers understand that, and they're doing it. Everybody's own their own data. They need to look at the data. I do all I can, sharing level. The teachers do the same thing at the classroom level, and then so that we can change things. That to share what we're doing with the community.
Are exemplars of excellence in schools. The ones that show the state how it's done.
Yeah, we have great schools in our portfolio, sharing what we're doing. I'm just afraid that if we share what we're doing, it will scare other people. Because, sometimes people don't like data. They just want to teach and go home.
Before you get into that, now, would there be a way that we could get a copy of that? I mean, kind of breaks down us to use in sharing, or a PDF copy or something. Yeah. I mean, I'm just kind of looking at it and going, oh.
Okay. Yeah, Michelle was asking me to see if we can have enough copies, but we don't have enough, unfortunately. So I'll make sure you get it PDF first, and the next board will get
the PDF file is fine. I mean, I don't have to have it.
Yeah,
it's really good.
It's nice. Maybe we should put it also in some coffee shops.
Or put it in the board, or if that would be easier.
Okay, thank you.
On the website, it should be on the website.
It really does need to be on.
Yes.
For your comment. So this is, our issue is the roof.
From the beautiful marketing to.
Exactly.
So, but there's an approval to ad hoc. So we're gonna make sure it's done. It's around 500,000. So we'll make it happen. It's part of the needs we filed with KCPS about our bond.
The bond.
But we need to spend it, and we need it now anyway. You can't wait. And the solar panel, so installation of new water fountain at Oak Oak Library was changed, by the way, because the library, one of them is library was bad. We didn't wait. It was changed around $60,000, around $30,000. How much was it? The library, Oak Library. 8,000. But now the main roof, that's what we need to do. So for the oak roof, the request for proposal have been changed, have been set, and then we get bids and need to make a decision to move forward. So, as you know, I said it out, we need to really make sure we are well maintained, and our classroom also have the equipment they need. Get installation there for oak, and Cherry, we're doing also some gates for the parking lot. So we, a few times last year. Now we have visiting rooms and batching roofs. Our equipment and facilities are in good conditions. Now, this is transportation. I talked about this is what we have at this point. But remember, some of them we used the same bus going a few years ago. Now, just realize this is around 30% of our enrollment, not 40%. And our projection budgeting is 40%. Once you get to reliability, we need to be planning for 40% of our kids will be doing. Currently, we're running, as I said, 13 buses, 19 routes. I will talk about this report, but we really probably need a new bus, of course, not buses to deal with buses broken down. It's canceling routes that create frustration and hardship for parents. So that's what we, the way we did it our first year was fantastic. We bought 7 buses, 5 routes, we had 2 spare buses. The whole year, was paradise. Went really well while we were struggling. That's the same model we want to put for old buildings and making sure we have what we need.
Has that always been that way, where you have more on the afternoon bus than the morning bus?
Well, yeah, parents drop their kids one afternoon, they work at work.
Oh, yeah, because of the time. Yeah, that makes sense.
But again, you can expect to climb 40%. That's what we have all the way up to COVID. During COVID, the parents start driving their kids to school because of all the constraint.
Yeah.
They don't get back to that.
Are you still having a problem with parents not being home in the afternoon?
Yeah, in fact, we had it for children. We had to bring the kid here to Arma for the bus to continue and then wait for the parents. That's one of the issues we're facing. So I just talked about this, the comprehensive bus plan, that bus transportation plan with everything we need to be submitted to the board. Hopefully by next week, next meeting, we'll be able to do it. Most of the things have been done, but we need a consultant to check what we have, routing, meeting, the percentage of spare bus you need to have. That's what he said, that, hey, in any case, you need to have, once he finishes his work. Environmental Protection Agency Clean Bus Project. This is a grant we received for 4 buses through Highland Electric. We have discussed about working with Highland to lease their buses. It's like a lease, and we'll be paying around $19,000 a year per bus. The infrastructure, and we'll be paying them $12,000 a year. Or paying all this infrastructure and doing it ourselves, we'll be paying $5,000 a year per bus. And we're working with another superintendent who did by himself, and he's our consultant with another transportation director, a former transportation director, to walk us through what they did. And he's really saying he's saving a lot of money, because in fact he's spending $100 per bus for electric only. So.
And that will be part of sort of the plan that we'll see at the next meeting,
Yeah.
sort of incorporate all those things and see.
And for us to do it ourselves here, as I said here, see, the buses cost $420,000. The one bus, flexible bus, but the grant cover only $345,000. So if you see, I would say $75,000 per bus. Times 4, if you can go 4, it's $300,000. Right there, we need to find. However, they told us a lot of grant for this because people, the federal government know that they cut the grant for bus. They used to give $379,000 or $90,000. They cut it down to $345,000, but they know there are other entities giving grants. You need to go from the grant to find for the $300,000 if we're doing it ourselves, or even if we're doing it with Highland, because if we were able to invest in the infrastructure, the cost we are paying for them would come down by $8,000 per bus. We will save money anyway. And if we're doing it for ourselves by ourselves, we're paying around $5,000 per bus per year. So last and then discussing the meeting in Highland, I think tomorrow. Yes. So again, coming back to this comprehensive plan, so we're going to work on with Stephen, see with 5-year plan, we are going to 35-40% for enrollment taking the bus. And what do we need? Mechanic and everything to present support. And also, if you decide to go that way, how are we going to raise the fund? Either we use our Thank you very much.
I have a good question. Do we have any feedback when we made the switch last year? I think there was some type of layer, there also was something earlier, either way.
Well, I don't know if anybody who wanted to give me a feedback. We have not asked for feedback at this point, maybe.
But just anecdotic, is there like...
About anything? Of the Jen?
Occasionally, it's ever really at the beginning. As we're looking at attendance at the end of the quarter, back, if we have an increase or the elementary are concerned, whether it's related to that or if it's the same people.
But
data matters. Yeah.
And ask people what they think. What I've seen is the early teacher coming, I'm home early. So.
The elementary school.
Yeah. So, but anyway, the majority of teachers voted for what we have anyway at this point. But yeah, we can do for next year. Thank you. Any other questions? Good. First of all, the meeting is all yours.
I got this, it's dated September 3rd, but I didn't get it, where you have to, you send it back to, what is it, Daniel Jones and Associates? So I just wanted to make sure this looks familiar to people. I don't know if they, do you know, do they send out another one? If we look in that junk mail that you threw over.
And you mail physically back to?
Yes, address stamped envelope in it. So yeah, so it's like a one pager that you fill out, and then there's another part where it's fraud risk inquiries. You see all kinds of questions, just look for the one that said, I think it was 3 or 4 questions. So just watch for that. And then, yeah, I was just gonna mention that, that I'm attending the Missouri Charter School Public School Association. I can't remember this week as well. And so I'll report to you on how he and Dr. Boyd do the updates. So other than that, I think we do need to go matters. So let's just do a session. And Pam. All right, in favor?
I think we have.
Did you say all in favor? The roll call vote? No, you take the vote. The vote has to be.
No, I was just saying you'd be so proud of me because I remember to say 4 legal issues. And then she failed. All right, so Pam.
Yes.
Jeff, Michelle, yes.
Olivier, yes.
Lisa, yes.
Wendy, yes.
And online?
Gloria, yes.
Come here,
You
you
can go through your background check, I'll email you, as long as all of that gets done, you can vote.
Okay, hold on a second, guys. We aren't finished with the roll call vote. Lauren and Crystal? Crystal?
Maybe 15. No, I hope not that long.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk fast.
Okay.